got them. Now we can get started. So in this free live webinar, I'm going to walk you through how to structure your offers. And I'm also going to show you what companies are looking for specifically. Now, the reason why I know this, not just because of research, but because I've been talking to them. I was talking to Tesco's just last week, just finding out, and I know they have internal programs, but I also want to find out if someone had to sell to you, it was something that you needed, nothing that they wouldn't need. If we had to sell to you, what do you look for in a package? And I do this purposely because I want to make sure that when I'm showing you and teaching you, I'm teaching you facts straight from the horse's mouth. I've done this with Meta, I've done this with CBRE, Ernst and Young, I've done it with my butchers down the road. This is how local and global. You don't have to sell to the big companies. There are chains of laundrettes, there are chains of butchers, there are chains of bakery that you can still do this for. So I'm going to show you how you can have your existing offer that you sell B2C. There's a few tweaks that you can send it to corporates. So first thing we're going to do is what needs to be packaged for premium buyers. So obviously people who have money, they look at things differently from people who may not have money. So I'm going to show you what they look for. And then I'm going to tell you why now's the right time to sell in terms of Q3 and Q4 of the year, and why you need to be doing this now. So this is what I'm going to share with you in the time that we have. Just a bit of introduction as to who I am. I think everybody here knows me, but just in case you don't, I'm the CEO and founder of The People's Partner, which is a coaching consultancy. It started off as a HR consultancy, and then I realized there's no money in that, in helping employees. Then I pivoted to help companies in terms of how they manage their staff, and that led me into the leadership work that I do now, and also what I do now in terms of helping consumers get into corporates. So I see myself as a supplier diversity advocate because I'm always championing the underdogs, the underrepresented, the underserved. It doesn't matter if you're female, it doesn't matter if you're disabled, it doesn't matter if you're ethnic minority. I'm always going to champion you. I'm going to always speak to these companies and find out, what do the underserved companies or new founders or women business owners, what do they need to do to get in front of you? All right. I'm always speaking to them about that. So I always have up-to-date and current information. I also co-found a tech platform called Texoma. And that's a platform where we have tech news. Basically, we have tech news. We do this in the UAE, in Africa, and in Canada. Also the founder of an agency called findexperts.me. ME stands for Middle East. Just in case you don't know, I live here and I live in Dubai. I've been doing this move very quietly, although sometimes I do talk about it, but that's why you might see things around the Middle East. Also a trustee and board member. But more recently, folks, if you have been watching my social media, I'm calling myself author to be, because my book has not arrived yet. But when it does arrive, I will be an author. And my new book, called David's Guide to Goliath: Strategies for Small Business Owners to Land Large Contracts. So I actually have my book launch taking place next week, guys. So if you actually put a 2 in the chat if you're coming to the book launch. Let me just see. Put a 2 in the chat if you're coming to the book launch. Let's have a look. Oh, yes. Ali's coming. Laura's coming. Who else is coming? Jackie's coming. Good. And put a 1 in the chat if you didn't know about it, but you would love to come. And then I can put the link. It's a free event. Thankfully, I got sponsored by NatWest on this, and they are covering the cost of the venue and the drinks and the nibbles. So, okay. Peter, if you're on the line, I think you are. Can you put the link for the Eventbrite link? Can you put that in the chat for us, please, so that Pamela, Jackie, and Lorna can register? I hope there's tickets left, by the way. I'm hoping there are tickets left because I haven't checked, and we have a capacity of, I don't know, 100 or 100 people. Thank you so much. Elizabeth is applauding me from the US. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yes, Lisa, we're going to put it in there. So, Peter, if you can put the Eventbrite link in there now. Oh, Gemma, so you can't make it. So also, those I at my event, some people pre-ordered, and so I'm bringing their books. So if you pre-ordered, your books will be there and it be ready. You're gonna queue up slightly in a different place because I've got a special message in there for you. If you aren't coming, if you can't come to the book launch and you've already pre-ordered, I will arrange to get it posted out to you afterwards. All right, brilliant. The link's there. Thank you so much. So I'm really pleased about that. And we've got some incredible people coming to the book launch. I've got actually a couple of people flying in to the from Dubai. I've got someone coming in from Paris, and we've got some incredible people who's going to be in the room. We've got some corporates. I've actually managed to get. I'm working on one more bank, but I've managed to get all the banks to come. So we have a representative from all the banks. So I work a lot within the financial services and the oil and gas industry. So I've got HSBC Bank coming, Lloyds, obviously NatWest will be there, Deutsche Bank, and I'm working on Barclays. But some other companies will be there as well. So Jackie, you don't need to pre-order. I'm not doing pre-orders now, so you can just get your book on the day. That's no problem. You can buy your book on the day. Awesome. Brilliant, brilliant. So thank you all for that. I just wanted to, this is a shameless plug that I'm going to be an author, guys. I'm going to be an author. So let's get going. I always start my webinars with this slide. The reason being, it's really important that whatever you're selling to companies, it must be able to save them time in some way, or it must be able to make them money, or it must be able to save them money or push a new initiative or an existing initiative. If your offer, and let's say I'm speaking to you as consumers and you don't have an offer yet, but you work with entrepreneurs and other consumers, have a looking, thinking about what you already have. It should be able to be adapted to fit one of those quadrants. Because if it doesn't, and it's just a nice to have, it's not enough for them to buy it. It's not enough for them to buy it at all. So it's got to fit into one of those. So let's say if you're into food, one of the people that we had actually two people who sold food at our last 2-day workshop. And I showed them how they can make it a corporate ready offer. And one of them already is now selling to corporates. And those, if you come to the 2-day, I'll show you what she did. If you're into food, same things. If you're, let's say, if you're into medicine, if you're into well-being, there's ways that you can adapt it to suit their budget and suit their needs. And it can, so if you're home food, it might be a new initiative. It's not going to save them money. I can't see how your food choices might be slightly more competitive in price. But I'm thinking of the big overall. It's got to be compelling to save them time. Do you have a program that's going to make them money? Or are you going to save them money because it's going to reduce turnover, it's going to reduce churn? Or they might have a new initiative. They need to bring more cultural inclusion into the workforce. So you might do that through your food. You might do that through well-being. There's all different things. So I want to know, before we move on, look at what you have. Look at what you can do. Where do you fit? Can you just put in the chat, is it saving them time, making them money, all three? If it's all three, put three. If it's just one thing, put the one thing. If it's all four, put four. I just want to see where you all are at the moment. And so then it will just help me in my thought process. Think about what you do. Awesome. 2 of them you can do, Jackie. Brilliant. Laura, you can definitely push an initiative. Awesome. And knowing what I know of you as well, I think you could probably save them money from them retaining their top talent or their leaders. And when they have better leaders in place, they will definitely bring value to the company. Awesome, 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 awesome. I love this. Brilliant. So yeah, so always think about in terms of your offer, how you can fit into those quadrants. And it's very useful that when you're talking to corporates, when you're having conversations, when you're pitching, when you're proposing, that it meets at least one of those four quadrants. Yeah. Really, really important. So, do any of these apply to you? That your price doesn't reflect your value? Do you feel you're pricing yourself out of the market, or do you think you're underpricing yourself in terms of that the value that you bring to the table? And when people say, "Oh, um, their price is not reflecting their value," I'd love to hear what you think your value is, because your value can't be just in your head. Your value, you can't have a coach tell you that, oh, you're valuable, charge X amount. So I'm going to demyth that bug. And I'm actually going to do a social media post on this, because coaches always say, oh, charge X amount because you're this valuable. But if they're not your target market, you need to have concise evidence that you are valuable. We know we're valuable. We're all beautifully and wonderfully made. I know that for a fact. But you need to prove to the market how valuable you are. So you're only as valuable as the market is willing to pay. And this is the same with corporates, this is the same with companies, startups. You need to prove to the market that you're valuable. So these are the three things that I want you to think about. Does your positioning blend in the crowd? Like if you're a well-being expert, for example, and there's so many well-being experts, how are you different? What makes you stand apart? Is it your pricing model? Is it your access to really great clients in the past? Is it because I don't know, you have a framework which is completely different from what other people are saying or purporting to have? You really have to understand how you are different in the market. Do you have certain qualifications? Do you have an MBA, or do you have a CBE? What makes you different? And I'm talking about you as the person, and then you as the product, you as the supplier. What makes you different? Start thinking about those things. And your packaging. Now, what I put this in because I have many people say, oh my God, I can do so many things. And what tends to happen, you put so many things out at one time, which I'm doing right now, purposely, actually. As people know, I've got my book launch and I'm running a 2-day program, then I've got a webinar. It's all happening in 1 month, which is confuse people. But how does your packaging stop confusing people? How do we know if a corporate, and I'm just calling corporates, it could be any company, but let's say if the office manager or the HR lead or the office manager or the ops manager is on LinkedIn. Let's say they are on LinkedIn today and they need a speaker to come in and talk about menopause. Will they be able to find you in amongst the crowd of everybody else who's talking about menopause? Or are you talking about menopause today, and then next week you're talking about entrepreneurship, and then last week you were talking about IT and AI? That's what means the confusion. I used to work in HR in-house, and I used to hire in trainers. And if I were to go on LinkedIn, I want to be able to scroll back and see, yeah, they've been talking about this for months. They've been talking about this for weeks. They know what they're talking about. I feel comfortable bringing them in to teach my employees, and my manager feels good, knows that I've made the right choice. So put a 1, 2, or 3 in the chat, or you can put all the numbers. Which one of these apply most to you? Let me know in the chat. Awesome, awesome. I can see here. We've got 2s. We've got, what else do we have? 1 and 3, or 1 or 3. And it could be even a clarity thing, that do people really understand what you do? So I'm moving into a fairly new market. So I'm still doing leadership, but I'm doing work around entrepreneurship. Now, I did a talk on entrepreneurship about a year and a half ago in Bucharest. And I just did a talk on entrepreneurship, and I've never delivered any work around entrepreneurship. But after my talk, I had who was there? Samsung was there. There were some other big brands, and they were asking me, would I be able to help them if they wanted to build a program, internal program? And I've never done it before. But then I thought, actually, there is a need. There needs to be a need. And then now, what I'm working on a whole year later is how to package that entrepreneurship program. What does it look like? If I had to come into your offices and build one so that I'm helping you retain your top talent so that they don't leave, we want to harness their entrepreneurial gifting. How I'm trying to package to sell. And I'm going through these same things that I'm teaching you. So I never teach what I don't do myself. All right. So we're going to just go through that. So let's move on. What corporates are looking for in 2025. So I'm going to show you a screen. Now, if you came to this the last time, because I think there's one or two people that have, it's the same one. And I'm happy that you're here again. But there's going to be, I'm going to share some things that they are looking for. And this is according to some research and some stats and data from Harvard Business Review. And also I did some research on Deloitte. But it doesn't mean if you do something and it's not on that list that they won't take you. It doesn't mean that. But this is just showing the top 8. All right. Management consultants. If you do anything around management, around consultancy, it's a top priority at the moment. So is well-being. We know that it's been going on for a little while. It's not going anywhere soon. Sales. Anything that's going to make the company money, they're going to want to know you. Even if you help people in business now do sales, you can tweak it and you can help bigger companies, just, people who have more staff than just 3 remote staff. Customer service optimization. Customer service helps them make money. People who do business development helps them make money. So if you can help them how to be better negotiators, better at communicating, that's what they're looking for. Obviously, AI is big, is huge. If you can help them with that. Training and development, diversity and inclusion, and of course, HR consulting. These are the 8 main subjects and themes that they're looking for. But as we've proven time and time again, that there are other things they will also pay for as long as it meets their needs. And I can show you I can obviously show you how to know if your offer meets their needs. There's, different in-house magazines, there's trade bodies. They'll tell you what's the going theme, what's critical within certain industries. All right. So let's look at what your offer must do. It must be clearly structured. It must be clear and it must be structured. It cannot be, like a finger in the air. It can't be one of those. It needs to be clear on what the return on investment will be. It's got to be clear what the outcomes will be. They're not really bothered about the process. As long as, the process is not going to take up too much of their time, because we're working with people who are employees, or they might be paid, it could be like law firms, right? Professional service. They get paid every minute. So you need to show them that if you work with me, or if you buy my product, if you buy my service, these are the clear parameters. These are the clear outcomes. This is the return on investment of time, return on investment in deliverables. We need to be able to do that. So I'm going to put a caveat here. If you hear me speak about things that you're not used to, don't worry. This came up the last time. I'm putting together a glossary of terms. I've already put together 99. I think I might stop there. 99 terms that corporates use. So I'm putting what we use when we're talking with consumers, and if you had to say the same thing to a corporate, what you would say. So I'm going to be giving that out. So look out for that, guys. Demonstrate value and outcomes. They are interested in values. So how is what you're doing going to be valuable? How do we know it's not going to be a waste of our time, a waste of our money? And if people are going to be missing work to do your training, missing deadlines effectively and targets to do your training, you need to prove to them it's valuable. It's worth you missing half a day every day for a week. You need to prove to them it's worth every penny for them to take out leaders out of their job, especially if they are income earners. That means they're bringing money there's different types of staff. There's staff that actually bring money into the company, and there are staff that are peripheral. When I was in HR, I was peripheral, which means I don't bring money into the company. I just make sure that the company are doing the right things. But there are salespeople that bring money in. There's business developments that bring money in. So you need to prove working with me, talking with me, buying my products, buying my services is going to be a good use of time. That's what you need to do. When we're selling to consumers, they don't care about that. I bet you any money, when you sell to a consumer, they want to know, how many modules is it? When do we meet? That's what they want. With corporates, they want to know that as well, but it's not as important. They want to know, if we give you 2 hours of our time once a week or once a month, what will we get at the end of it? So that's the difference when you're selling to a consumer and selling to companies. You need to align with their internal needs and budgets. So you need to know when their budgets are. When is the best time to talk to you? Is the budget renewed? These are the key things and the key types of language that you need to be using when you're speaking to companies. So let me show you the 3-part structure to be corporate ready: packaging, pricing, and positioning. Packaging. Let's go to packaging first. I'm just doubly checking that there's no questions. Good, good, good. You get it, guys? You get it? Yes, Yvonne, we are peripheral because we don't bring money in, but we do make sure that they are towing the line. So I guess that's another way of saving them time and money. Let's look at packaging. Speak their language. Now, I've put that, and that's why I've told you about a glossary that I'm putting together. You need to be talking stats. You need to be talking budgets. You need to talk about ROI. All of those types of things make their ears prick up and think, Jackie knows what she's talking about. Let's have a conversation. All right. That's what they want to be talking about. So speak their language of money. Talk about, actually, if you bring me in, I can help we're not talking about that entire organization. I can help your department reduce churn. I can help your department work better together because this culture understands this culture. They understand the mechanism. I can get them to talk to each other, to understand, to communicate better, which is only going to be beneficial for the organization. Speak their language. That's how you package it. When you're putting your proposal, speak their language. Create bundles or tiers. Now, when I'm talking about bundles and tiers, they don't want to just work with you one-off. It's not a good use of their time. They want to work with you over a longer period of time. To get in, it might be a one-off. But to sustain, sell them packages and bundles and tiers. So you can say, for tier 1 might be the first year, looks like this. Tier 2 might look like this. Tier 3 may look like this. You don't need to have it all together because who knows what's going to happen in year 2 and year 3. But to have an idea and let them start thinking, actually, working with Pamela is a long-time partner. They want partnerships. They want long-time suppliers. That is why, if you know, and if you've ever worked in a company of any sort, when they brought in the printer or the photocopier, they take out 3-year term lease. They take out 5 terms. So they negotiate a better rate over a 5-year period because they don't want to buy another Xerox every year, another Canon every year. It's the same with us as coaches, consultants, speakers, and trainers. They want to buy in your service over a year, over 2 years. So sell them that. Even if they just buy 1 year, even if they just buy 1 month or 2 months, still sell them, work with me for a year. because I get to understand your employees. They get to love and understand and trust me. You're going to sell them tiers, bundles, packages, and add assets. So what we call them when we're selling B2C is, you get an extra 15 minutes with me, or you get an extra PDF. We call them assets. When you're talking to companies, it's the same thing, but you'll say you get other added assets. So an asset could be, actually, it could be a resource. It could be some downloadable tools. It could be a Voxer. So they don't know Voxer. I don't think they all know what Voxer is. We know what Voxer is, but you might say, if I'm doing some executive coaching with your team over a period of time, we might have drop-in sessions. So on a Friday between 12 and 2, they can email me. And you set the parameters, because you don't want them emailing you all the time. So you can say every Friday, your executive team who I'm coaching, if they have any questions, they can email me between that time. That's added assets. And for them, they're going to think that's a bonus. This is brilliant. So can you see how a packaging for a consumer can be slightly different when you're packaging for corporates? Just put a yes in the chat if that's clear. I want to make sure that's clear for you. Put a yes in the chat. If it's not clear, let me know and I can re-explain. Awesome. So let's look at pricing. What I said before, I re-impress here. Focus on the value and not your time. This is why you try not to, and it's not that you can't, but try and sell them a package rather than, I'll just come in and do 1 hour coaching. It's not good. It's not good. They want to know that actually I need you in over a period of time. So focus on the value that you bring. That if someone has executive coaching with you, for example, what's going to happen? How will they feel? How will they think? How will they act? How will they behave? That's the value. What does that mean for what does it mean for them, that person, that end user? Then what would it mean for the team now that they're thinking different, behaving different? What would that mean for the department? And what would that mean for the overall company, depending how big the company is? So you want to show that one pebble that drops in the river has a ripple effect. That's how you prove your value. So you're not just trying to sell to the end user. You're saying to them, if I help the end user, it's going to help them, but it's going to also help you because you don't need to keep managing them. It's also going to help the team. It's going to help the department. Introduce retainer options. I have retainer options for my HR. I don't even do HR anymore, and I still have people paying me on my retainer. It's very small what they're paying me. To be fair, it's very small, but they pay each month. And all I do, and I don't even do it every month, I just like every other month, I might drop an email and say, hi, hope everything's going all well. If you need me, you know where I am. That is it. And I just do that to make sure I'm still on the payroll. So I still get paid. And then sometimes, like one of my IT companies yesterday sent me an email and said, somebody's leaving, Michelle, and there was some clause in their contract. So I just took the time out to help them because they've been paying me for the last 6 months and I've done nothing. This is greatness of retainers. It could be low cost. Sometimes retainer fees are much higher. I had a retainer contract in Harley Street and they paid much more because actually they needed me every month. But sometimes you might be blessed to get a contract where they don't need you all the time and they pay you every month. So retainer options are great. And I have contracts for that if you want to put someone on retainer. So I've got contracts for that. And quote with confidence. When you're quoting, you quote with certainty. Certainty that you know you're giving them good value for money, and certainty to know that you can deliver. That's really important. You can deliver. And what tends to happen, we give them a price and we're not too sure. And we're negotiating back and forth. Give them the quote. And the great thing about it, you never should give a quote without telling them an idea of how much it's going to cost verbally. And then you just solidify that in your proposals. So your proposal should never be a document that is just out of the wild, out of the blue. Like, oh my God, where are they going with this big figure? Because when you had spoken to them and you said, actually work with me, for me to build in an entrepreneurship program into your systems, it's going to be around, and then I might say, and I always go for something bigger because I don't know how much it's going to cost anyway. So I might usually say it might cost around the 15 to 20K mark. So they can be on the phone and think, oh my God, this woman is crazy. Or actually, we could do that. And it's there when I'm on the phone talking to them, I might say, how does that fit within your budget? And they'll usually say, oh, we never had a budget for this, Michelle. I'll say, well, that's fine. So hold that figure in your mind. I'm going to do you a proper deep dive proposal. I will cost it all out. So when I do my quotes, I actually do them as a shopping list. And then I can present that to you. So if the 20K is still there and it's still too much, we can take something off. Just like when you go to Tesco's, if you no longer need the avocado, you take it out the shopping basket, the fee goes down that you need to pay, but they don't get the avocado. It's the same when you're selling to corporates. Do a shopping list of what you can do. It might be only 3 things, 2 things, 5 things. And if they can't afford it, you take something out. That's how you negotiate. Or you might say, actually, if we stretch this out over 6 months and you can pay every month, I can reduce it slightly. So it's got to be a win-win for both of you and not just a win for them. It's got to be a win for both of you. All right. And then when we look at positioning, own your niche, have a niche. Mine, like I said earlier, is the financial services and the oil and gas. I actually have a really good connection within the oil and gas industry because there's not many people that talk about leadership and inclusion with entrepreneurship in the oil and gas. And I had to learn about the oil and gas industry. That's why I get called all the time. They're not calling anyone else. Oh, they might do. But I understand how the market works. And I did that purposely so that they call me. And that's why I get to fly to Rwanda and I fly to Dubai and I fly to other places because there's not many people that understand the oil and gas industry. There's not many women that understand the oil and gas industry. And there's not many women in leadership who do it. So then I stand out. I've owned the niche. Own a niche. So put in the chat, if you had to own a niche, what industry would it be? Would it be education? Would it be family? Would it be aviation? Would it be construction? Would it be property? What would it be? Let me see you own a niche. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I'm just going to take a drink, but let me know. Let me know. So what we got coming up? STEM, brilliant, 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 brilliant. That's a brilliant niche. Education and tech, spot on, spot on. Financial services, yep, Lisa, we know there's money there. Once you hit the nail on its head, IT, for sure, for sure. Travel and tourism, brilliant. Insurance and pharma, money is there. Money is there. Accountancy, money is there. Women in male-dominated environments, pharma, tech, yes, yes, well-being, definitely. So this is what you need to do now. If you like the idea of pharma, or IT, or any of those, own it. Start to understand the market, understand the industry, the nuances. Because now when you're putting out your post, your visibility posts on LinkedIn, for example, or if you're writing blogs, if you're doing reports, you can utilize their acronyms, utilize their the types of language they use because they know, oh my God, this person knows. For example, not many people know about, like when I'm doing my training for leaders in the oil and gas industry, I talk about electric vehicles. I talk about how do you manage when you're out on a rig? How do you communicate so that they feel that they're still included in what's happening? I understand the laws that govern around the oil and gas industry. When I do my trainings and they see me, I come in and they think, oh God, who's this young girl? I look young. They say, who's this young girl? And I've had I mean, the men have said it to me in my face. What do you know about what we do? But once I win them over, because they always come into my rooms with their back up, telling me that I'm not going to know anything. They disrespect me. They are rude to me. They are arrogant to me. But once I get them seated, and then I always start with an icebreaker around the oil, something around the oil and rigs. And they're like, how does she know? And then once I get them to do like some case studies, I bring case studies, which is about the oil and gas industry. I look at what's happening. I put on my Google alerts so I know what's happening around the industries. And by the time I finish on day one, they love me. I have won them over. And the person that hires me in, they're already booking me for the next cohort. Own your niche. Show that social proof. Let people know that you understand the industry. You understand the terminology. You understand what's going on. Who are the next movers and shakers within those industries? Because it's easy for them to buy your package. It's easy for them to buy from you because they actually want to buy from people that understand what they're going through. Does that make sense what I'm saying to you, right? And be visible in the right places. And why I've put that there, I'm not just talking about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best place to be for business. But I'm not just talking about LinkedIn. I'm actually also talking about going to their types of events. Now, if the truth be known, the oil and gas industry is boring. It does not fill me with joy. I don't read it and think, whoo, oil and gas, rigs, Esso, BP. It does not fill me with eternal joy. But I can price my leadership training at premium because I know nobody else likes it and nobody else wants to do it, but I do it. So when people say do something that you love, I love the money that comes with it. I love the opportunities to travel that comes with it. So if there was an oil summit, a gas summit, I'm going to go, I'm going to pay my £300 and buy my ticket and be there. Why? Because there's not going to be many other leadership executive coaches in the room. So I've got this entire market capped. I will go and I'll sit there and some of the things they'll say will go over my head. I won't even know what they're talking about half the time. But I'm in the room and I'm going to sit next to somebody who works in the oil and gas. And I'm going to say to them, they're going to ask me, what do you do? And I'm going to say, well, actually, I'm a leadership executive trainer and coach for the oil and gas industry. They're going to say, really? So you don't work on the rigs? You understand about electric vehicles? And I'll say, yeah. And then I'll say something which is going to be very clever because I've just read my Google alerts about what's going on. They hire me on the spot. This is what you need to be. You need to be visible in the right places, not just on LinkedIn, but go to where they go. If you're into STEM, if you're into IT and pharma, what's happening in the pharma industry? Have you downloaded or are you on their mailing list? Because if you're on their mailing list, you'll get information about what's going on. So don't just leave it to LinkedIn. Online is brilliant and they show up online, but they also show up in person. So think about STEM, IT, pharma, whatever you've put. What's happening? Do I know what's happening in the industry? Is there any meet the buyers events happening where I might be able to meet them? Is there any, I'm like tomorrow, how many of you know that tomorrow, and I did send an email out, but ages ago, to be fair, but tomorrow is an award ceremony and conference for speakers. It's called the Speaker Awards. The conference is in the day. The award ceremony is in the evening. Now, I knew about it. I saw it posted on social media and I thought, I'm a speaker. I'm a paid speaker. I'm definitely going to be in the room. I've paid my ticket. I'm going to the event. And there's speaker bureaus there. There's speaker bookers there. And there are companies who are going. I'm going to be in the room. And then I've asked specifically to put me on a table with the speaker bookers. They've put me on a table with the speaker bookers. I'm going to be in the right rooms. So think about where you should be. And this is something that I tell my people who came to my 2 day workshop, people that came to who are part of my program. Where are you showing up? And this is what happened with Janine, another career coach, and Jenny, who actually are listening to me and put it into practice. Some of these people have only been to one masterclass. Some of them are part of the CAM program. Some of them came to my 2 day workshop. One of them who secured a 10K contract and then the next month, 11 or 12K contract, she came to a free mastermind because it happens. I've got there's somebody who came to one of my masterclass and she managed to get a piece of work with Meta based on one little strategy that I shared, and she ran with it. She ran with it. So these are people, these are real people who are getting real results. Not saying they get it in the first month. Let's be honest, they don't get it in the first month. Well, one of them did, but she's an anomaly. But sometimes it takes 3 months, sometimes it takes 6 months. But you've got to be in it. You've got to start it to get it. You've got to be in it to win it. So let's have a look at what they're willing to pay. Take a screenshot of this so you can get an idea. Now, you may charge more than that. That's fine. If you're doing something with the aviation center, they're gonna be prepared to pay more. But if you're working with a company that has a turnover of 2 mil, they might have 10 staff. So even at 10 staff, they can have a very high turnover. I base my working with companies on not just how many people they have employed, but on how much money they generate. So they may then pay you between 10 and 15,000 per program. So when people ask me how much should I charge, I have to then come back to you and say, what's the company? How long have they been going for? How much money do they make? Because then that's how you assess where you should position your pricing. But this gives you a ballpoint figure, 3 to 7 if it's a small team, mid-size 10 to 25, larger contracts. Have a look at that and put in the chat, knowing where you are, where could you start with a small team, mid-size, or a large contract? Put in the chat, let me know. Let me know, where would you put it? Mid-size, small, large contracts. Let's have a look. Let's see what's being said. Mid, brilliant. Smalls, yep. Large, definitely. I had a big culture change program that I had to pitch for, and it was for a university. And I pitched 50K. I pitched 50K. So you definitely can. And yeah, you can start small. Start with doing like a lunch and learn and get paid for your lunch and learn. A lunch and learn could be 90 minutes. Your lunch and learn could be 60 minutes. And you can still get paid for it. So these are a few ways that you can position yourself. So what I want us to look at, because I want to make time for Q&As, is your timing. Timing is essential, guys. Timing is essential. And even if you're off the time, you're not getting them at the right time, find out from them when is the right time. Salespeople do all the time. We are salespeople. If you have a product, if you have a service, we are salespeople. Yeah. So Q3 and Q4 are the sweet spots. Why? Because they're winding down towards the end of the year. They're now thinking of Christmas. I know we're only in July, but I'm guarantee you they're thinking about Christmas. They are now thinking about who should we promote? Who should be in a higher position for January 2026, Q1? That's what they're thinking about. Corporates think ahead, a whole year in advance. When you're selling to consumers, you can sell to them, you can sell something to them today and they buy it tomorrow. With companies, they think a year and ahead, sometimes 2 years, 2 quarters ahead. So we need to capture them now. Think about budgets. When is their budget reset, their mid-year reviews. Have a think about those kind of things. And you can find these information on their websites, in their annual, what do they call it? Their annual corporate plans. You can, if they are part of governing bodies, you can find out there, like if it's accounting or finance, the ACCA, you can find out from them. Think about their planning phases. Are they in hiring season? If they're advertising something on a job board, then there's changes happening within the organization. Capture that. So I'm on LinkedIn, as many of you are on, and I have job alerts on. And the reason why I do it, I want to see what companies are hiring. Who are they hiring for? I had somebody reach out to me today, actually. They're based in Dubai, and she's a hiring manager. And she asked me, she said, "Oh, looking at your profile, Michelle, I've got some companies that would love to hire you." Now, I'm not about to be an employee again. I don't know. I think I'm unemployable. But there's something else she put in there. She said, we're also hiring for non-executive directors within the region. And just looking at what you've done, now I want to talk, because I'm happy to be engaged as the non-executive director, because I sit as a trustee for other boards, and I know that they pay, and I know it's good for credibility. And I asked her what jobs are hiring, what are they hiring for? And she was able to tell me some and not others. But the ones that she was able to tell me, it's really got me thinking, actually, if they're looking for that, there's changes happening with the organization. How can I picture myself to come in as a consultant to fill the gap while they're hiring? There's so many ways that you can find out what's happening within the organization. Look at procurement timelines. Now, some of you might think, oh, I'm too small for procurement. But there are certain portals that you can go on and just register to be on their portals. And when they're looking for someone like you, you're already registered. They'll always look on their internal portals. Some of the largest organizations, they have internal procurement supply chains. You just need to register. It's absolutely free, by the way. It's free. It's free. I know that I've just done one recently for JP Morgan, because they hiring consultants, they hiring trainers. I want to be on their supply chain. So I've registered. And all I needed to do is have my company name, give them an idea of how much my turnover is, give them an idea of who I've worked with before. And listen, guys, if you've never worked with corporates or companies before, utilize your experience when you've worked with consumers. It's still people. You've still got results. So don't neglect your experience with consumers and other entrepreneurs. Do not neglect it. Also think about the end of year spend. When you're talking to them, just say, your end of year spend. Have you capped it? Have you reached it? If they have used it, ask them to take in budget from somewhere else. Because what tends to happen, if they don't use their budget, they lose it for the following year. Tell them to spend their money on you. Tell them to spend their money on you. Is this helpful so far, guys? Let me know in the chat. Put a yes in the chat if this is helpful. And I want you to go away with something today. I want you to go away with, actually, let me tweak my package this way. Let me show how it's valuable. Let me show how they're going to get a return on investment. So think of this. I want you to think of one corporate offer. Who can you sell it to? How much could you charge? You don't need to have exact figures. You don't even need to write it in the chat if you don't want. But I want you to get your juices flowing. How will you stand out? What can you do on your LinkedIn page tonight to stand out a bit better? What can you do? How can you offer them additional assets? What PDF? What resource? Is it an MP3? Is there an MP4 that you can give them? Is there extra coaching sessions? A 15-minute check-in? All of these things allows you to stand out. And it allows you to add an additional asset and makes you more valuable. So while you're thinking, what I did on my LinkedIn, and I did it just about a month ago, I changed my LinkedIn profile and I've put leadership development consultant. There's many of us, but not many of us have 25 years of HR expertise. I'm already standing out. So I'm bringing my HR. I don't even do HR anymore, but it doesn't mean I can't use it. I'm still part of the CIPD. I can still utilize those experiences. So all your experiences matter. It doesn't matter in what field, what industry, bring it to the table. I've also then put entrepreneurship advisor and speaker because I've spoken on it many times and now I can advise on it. I've yet to deliver a program in-house. We're going to work on that. I know what to do. Board member. That's already shown my credibility. Once again, I'm standing out. I'm a HR past professional with more than 25 years experience. I'm a board member. And also I help corporates retain top talent and entrepreneurs win deals. I changed that like 2 months ago. And since I changed it, I can see that I'm getting more quality outreach in my inbox. All right, let me have a look and see what some of you may have said. Yes, 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 brilliant. So these are things that you can do, guys. It's not rocket science. It's not. I tell you where the challenge comes. The challenge comes, and this is what I show you on the 2-day. The challenge comes in the execution. And this is why I run the 2-day program, because you do it in the room. Because I know when you go back home, your mummy, your wife, your sister, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. So that's why you do it in the room. And remember, everyone has an idea, but it's the execution that separates you. Because I know there's many of you that do the same thing here, but not everyone's going to do it the way you do it. Your execution can't be stolen. I will teach you skills that could last you a lifetime. I can easily teach you that. And that's why I do the 2-day intensive. So you do it in the room. First day, we're going to create your corporate offer. If you already have one, we'll tweak it, we'll amend it, we'll review it, we'll test it. You don't need to have worked with corporates before, because I'm going to show you a trick that works every time. That when you leave, you'll have at least 15 new leads, 15 new corporate leads. So this is for you. You can read this yourself. I'm not going to read all of it. Just take a picture to make sure this is for you. You know, you've tried tenders, you've sent in LinkedIn messages, and you're getting air. You're being ghosted. Or you've watched other people. Now, let me tell you, there's a lot of people landing corporate contracts that you don't know about. I had lunch with somebody, and I didn't even know that she's working with corporates. But she goes, Michelle, every day, that's where I got my money from. That's where I make my money. That's where I make my money. I was like, really? And I said, how do you get them? She said she mainly gets them through referrals, which gets back to, do people know what you do? Do people know that you also want to sell to companies? Because you might have referrals in your network already, but they don't know. So day one, we decode the buying behavior. You're going to create your corporate offer. We're going to make sure that it aligns with what they want. We're going to do that in the room. You're going to build your framework. So I have frameworks for absolutely everything. You're going to create your framework. It's going to be yours. It's your IP. You're going to define what the deliverables are. We're going to show them what the return on investment is. You're going to price it. So you do all that on day one, 10 to 4. It's going to take that time to get all of that done. We usually have between 15 and 20 people in the room, no more than that. Then day two is a shorter day because we want to go home to our loved ones, right? We want to go back home. 10 to 2, but it's fast paced on day 2, right? Because now on day 1, you created it. Day 2, we're going to deliver it. Now, day 2 is a Saturday. So you're saying to me, Michelle, there's no corporates around on a Saturday. but I'm going to show you how you're going to still launch it on the Saturday. All right. This is something that I've done. I work for with another company called GTEx. I've been working with them for, I don't know, it's probably going on 6 years now. We do this launch formula and it works every time. It works every time. You're going to do it as well. And then you're going to leave with 15 new corporate leads, because I'm going to show you how you've got 15 leads within your network already. And we're going to reach out to them. And you'll get real-time feedback in the room. So no one will ever leave the room confused, dazed. I don't know what's my next step. Myself, I'm there. I've got somebody else from the team who's going to be there as well. So you'll get the hands-on support. You'll get everything you need. So you won't be confused. You won't be dazed. These people were there. There was another 17 people there. And some people have already got the contracts. Some people are still waiting. They're still talking. This is only in April. So I want to find out who here is interested in coming on those 2 days. It's actually in 2 weeks' time, by the way, guys. So next week is my book launch. The following week is where we're delivering this. And I've actually got one person who's coming back because they want more. So please put a 1 in the chat if you're interested in coming. Put a 1 in the chat. I know actually some of you here are already coming. So good to see you. Please let me know if you would love to come. You can't make the Saturday, that's fine. Still come if you can come on the Friday, still come. If you can come on one day, come on one day. I will personally support. When I say someone from my team will get in touch with you for whatever you've missed. You get that personal you'll get that personal support. So don't worry. Don't worry. So this is how much it is. There's no discounts, guys. This is how much it is. Yeah. I'm not giving you a discount because it's not necessary. It's not necessary because you're getting me for 2 days. You're getting my team member for 2 days, who I have to pay, by the way. All right. And in those 2 days, we will cover everything. So you don't need to do anything else after the 2 days. If you do nothing else, you have got your 15 leads. If you do nothing else, you'll have your corporate offer. If you do nothing else, you're going to leave with that workbook full of tips for your next steps. It's free. So 250 plus VAT is £300 for the 2 days. I now have 9 places left because someone booked just now, just before we got on the call. So we have 9 places left. So if you want it, scan that. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Peter, if you're still there, can you put the link for the 2-day workshop in the chat to make it easier for people to click? It's going to take place in London, in a hotel. Please, thank you. Put that in the chat for me, please. So I'm really looking forward to having you guys on board, to be fair, really looking forward. And this is my last, actually, this is my last in-person event of sorts that I'm doing before I go back to Dubai. And I'm not coming back to Dubai until next year. So this is the best time to have me. Thank you. Thank you for putting that in. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. And I'm going to open up for questions, but I want you to take full advantage of this. Please book straight away. If you're having issues, then reach out to me. I'll put my email address here because I totally understand. Thank you, Yvonne. I'm looking forward to having you in the room. I'm going to put my email address here. Put in here if you want to come. And please go ahead and book. I'm going to open for Q&As now anyway. I want to see you. And I'm taking, so what day is it today? Today is Wednesday. No, it's not. What is today? Is today Thursday? Thursday, right. So Thursday. Thank you, babes. That's my husband shouting. Yeah, it's Thursday. So Thursday, Friday. Okay, yes. So what I want people to do, I want them to book before Saturday. I'm not increasing the money. I'm not doing all of that sales tactic. So I'm not going to increase it on Saturday, but it's just going to end. It's going to end on Saturday. So please use the QR code or use the link in the chat. I want us to open for questions. If you've got questions about anything about corporate readiness, delivering training here, delivering training in different countries. I also have leads for different countries. If you want to go to different countries, I've got leads coming out my ear rolls for that. But I want you to walk on this journey with me. So, guys, we have finished officially. I want to visit Dubai. Yes, yes, you will be there, Ali. You will be there in Dubai, and I'll open up my home to you. I'll take you to places. It's going to be great. So, any questions? Any questions from anyone? Laura, good to see you on here. Laura was at the last one actually, which was nice to have you. You don't need to come back again, Laura. I'm not here to take your money again, but if you want to come again, feel free to. Feel free to. But any questions from anyone, let me know. Thank you, Jackie.
Can I unmute to ask a question? Is that all right?
Yeah. Go for it.
My Wi-Fi is a little bit sticky though, because I'm out in the fields at the moment.
Yeah, no worries.
So I've got a question. So I'm a bit premature to this. So my background is I'm an accountant. I run my own practice, but I'm transitioning into coaching and money coaching. So I was told recently that to work with corporates, so I'm going to be certified, but I won't have my full accreditation yet. And I was told to work with corporates, you need to be accredited for coaching.
Accredited as what?
So an accredited coach as opposed to just a certified coach. I've just saying what I heard. So I just wanted to know if you know that to be true.
So I've been coaching for how many years and no one's asked me for my qualifications. And I only had one coaching qualification, and that's as a neuro-linguistic program master practitioner. No one's ever asked to see it. And I've worked it. And not saying it's impossible.
Yeah, sure, of course.
I think what you found is, I mean, I've been coaching for a long time and I'm qualified, but
I've also sorry, someone else saying something.
Oh, sorry, I was just adding to your question, Jackie, around the coaching.
Yeah, go for it, Laura.
No,
it's because her Wi-Fi.
It's fine. It just froze a bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was just saying that I've been coaching for years and I've been qualified but not certified separately. But what I've noticed in the last 6 months is that some corporates and some large agencies are asking for certification. So it just depends who you're going with, but it's not compulsory, and it certainly isn't. If it's just, and sometimes I've even noticed sometimes it's departments or sections within one company. So one department won't ask for it and another one will. So it just depends on who you are dealing with, but there's no requirement for you to be certified if they request it. To be honest, what I tend to say is then why do they require the certification? Because it depends what you're coaching on. I mean, the certification doesn't mean that it means that you've gone through somebody else's process. But if they want coaching for experience or for particular specialist thing, then
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm also a qualified teacher trainer as well, so I could use that if they did ask for that. To be fair,
that's the same with me as well. Right, that's the same with me as well. But have noticed only in the last 6 months, and I've been doing it for about 20 years, that people are starting. Like one person asks for it, and then someone else thinks they should have it, and so on and so forth.
Great, good to know. Thank you so much. This has been really useful, Michelle. As I said, I'm just at the beginning, so just being able to open my mind to different ways I can do stuff. And funny enough, when you said to look who you've got around you or who's in your referrals, I freelance for a corporate, but it didn't come to me straight away. I'm just like, they're corporate.
So. I'm saying we have the resources within us, and we don't think about these things, and we always think, oh my God, working with, and because I use the word corporates, and I think sometimes I'm not confusing people, but I think then people only think of massive companies, but there's local companies who are hiring There are, and they know nothing about certification qualification. They just want to know, actually, we're losing staff, or people are not buying from us. How are you going to help us? And so there's people in your network that you have not even tapped into. But yes, 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 yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions from anyone else? Any question? Good to see you guys on here as well. Natalie, over to you. Feel free to unmute.
Okay, thank you. This was really informative and really want to get started with this. What I just wanted to find out is that the company that my first company offers products. As you know, it's sorry, everyone, just to let you know, it's a photo booth and 360 booth and event supply. So it offers that. Would this be something that I could go into to address corporates with?
So this is how, I can tell you how you could do it. Yours is for entertainment.
Yeah.
So think about companies who, as far as I know, most companies they have events at some point or another. So you're just pitching your product or your supplies for when they have events. So you go to a company and do a bit of research, and they will show you that, you can go onto their website and you can see if there's any events coming up or if any events have had, and you just reach out to them and you say, listen, this is what we do. Have you considered having something like a 360 at your event, or this testimonial pod, and make it so relevant to them, like you're only speaking to them? Why would they not do it? It's something different. It's something engaging. It's something interesting. So that's how you pitch it. You don't even need to over-engineer any of this. It doesn't need to feel like, oh my God, I have to do a big pitch, a big proposal. I mean, I can't remember the last time I did a pitch or a proposal, to be fair. But I still have to do it. And then some people, they just want what you have because it's so unique.
Yeah.
And you discuss how much you charge for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. And some of this is easier. When I say, I don't want to make it like it's that easy. There's challenges and everything. And I, like you, I win some and I lose some. But I think we put so many blocks in front of us, and sometimes it's just answering the question: are you open to having someone like me? And let's say if you're into food or something, are you open into having a culture day and I supply the food for you? Here's my food standard certificate. Here's my, you might need definitely qualifications for that. And you show them. Why would they say no? If they say no, you go to someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Awesome.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Oh yeah, so I want to use this model that you're going to teach on the 25th and the 26th. I want to use it for this one first. But would this model be something I could use for another business? It's completely different. Like,
tell me about the business.
It's a Christian directory and learning hub.
The Christian directory and learning hub. That will continue from now. That will minimize your options will be very much minimized, because companies, but in the same breath, my mind's thinking of two things. If you pitch it to a company just as is, it will be very hard, in my opinion, for them to take you on. But what you can do is all the Christian calendar dates like Easter, Christmas, because companies now are being so much more inclusive, they celebrate these days specifically. You can say specific for those days, those dates, or those times that might be of interest to them. So you would have to pitch, your timing will be very important to pitch those. Because like obviously there's Ramadan is earlier on in the year. I know that my friend, she sells like certain clothing like shalwar kameezes. She was selling them in England around Ramadan in British owned companies, because they understand that they have Muslims within their organizations. Muslims want this, so they offered it as a service. If people wanted this, they put a directory together of like lots of the things that are happening in the calendar year. So that's how you can get in. But for them to buy it just like that, no.
Okay. So let's stick with the first one for now, and then we'll come back to that one later.
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
And because I wouldn't tell, that's another thing with me. If I know it's not sellable, I'm not even going to tell you it's sellable. It's not sellable, just as is. You will have to be very particular about what organizations and timing.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hi, Michelle, can you hear me?
Tadenda.
Oh,
hello, madam. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi. Sorry, I can't. I've just literally popped outside, so my face is not showing.
No worries.
But I wanted to ask. So I'm literally just doing my coaching course now. I do have experience in real estate, but the main one that I wanted to more go into was well-being with neurodiversity and menopause. And so do you think that this is something that I could use? And also I have I'm basically based out of London and Dubai as well. So is that I guess like, and do you think this would be appropriate or any?
So just because you're cutting slightly, so I just wanted to make sure I've got your question properly. Are you asking if well-being at menopause is a sellable offer? Let's put that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well-being is big at the moment and huge, and it's not going to be going away soon. And menopause is one of the fastest growing requirements at the moment. I did a talk on something on leadership at a record label, and they were asking me about menopause, and I said at the time I wasn't even at menopause stage, and I was like, I don't know, I'm the wrong person to ask. So this is about like a few years ago. Things are different now, right? I get hot and cold all the time now, but at the time I was like, I don't know. It was a big thing. They were asking how do they amend their policies, how do they have conversations with women about these things. And since then I've just heard companies talking about menopause, and there's now, and I'm part of the CIPD, and I've seen now on our website they've introduced like a menopause policies, which means companies is definitely a need. So yes is the short answer.
Okay, thank you. Great.
And even
sorry, quick one. Sorry, last question. I know obviously you're based in Dubai as well, and I'm guessing that's what you do. Is that the well-being topic quite common at the moment there as well?
Well-being is, yeah, because as we know, they overwork their staff, and there's companies that want to do right. They want to do right by their people. So you just have to approach it a different way. You have to show them that well-being is going to increase staff productivity, rather than them thinking well-being is another way, oh, they need time off, because that's how they will look at it. So knowing how the Middle East is, you have to show them it actually is going to make people work harder without burning out.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. No problem. We'll take the last question from Ali. Over to you, Ali.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
No worries, darling.
Everybody, I just want to say that I saw Michelle talk at a recent event, and she did a little exercise that got me going, and I've bought into, I'm going to be at the 2-day event. So thank you for that, Michelle.
Yes, good. I can't wait to see you.
Yeah, I'm excited. So my question is this, right? I've got a social enterprise called Caribbeats. We're doing great things and we've got visibility. But one of the things I'm always asked about is how do I build trust and how do I build connection? So that's one thing. And I've been lucky enough to go into some corporates and do talks around the antidote to disconnection, which I believe is connection. Is this sellable? Because I think I've worked in corporates. My background is working for local authorities, and there's a lot of people walking around with like this persona of how I should be. But I believe that people want to be themselves. Is that a viable product to sell to corporates? Yeah.
So what I didn't get, what is the product, sorry, that you want to sell?
You know, that's why I'm calling the 2-day event, right? Because I'm not sure how to package it. All I know is that get me in a room full of people, and you know when people want to talk but they feel like they've not got the permission to do that.
Okay.
I am that person to allow that. People just open up to me. So how would I package that as your team, your workforce needs to be more connected to be more productive? Is that a
You
product?
sell it. That's how you sell it. So what you'd be selling is communication. You could be selling, I think communication would be, uh, or it could be internal comms. You could all be selling negotiation skills. You could be selling speaking skills, not public speaking, but professional speaking is different from public speaking. So what you'd be saying is how to give a voice for people who may not feel comfortable speaking in public. So you also talk about gravitas in boardrooms, how people get people to speak up in meetings. So when I do meetings, and most of my stuff I do online, I can see who the quiet ones are when I'm delivering, and I make sure I take time and give room for them to speak. Or if they want to speak to me afterwards, I make sure I don't just finish all my training and then I'm gone. I have to make room for those people. So you could be talking, you can teach or train or advise or consult on how companies or how teams can make space for rich and diverse and inclusive conversations. That's what.
That's that sounds good because a memory that comes back to me is this, right? So when I was working in this particular local authority, I think it was Lambeth, and I was amongst a lot of social workers, and I was sat at a desk. The amount of conversations I had with them around, I love what I'm doing, but this is not my purpose, and it felt like there was a niche between getting, if your line manager's going, what's going on with you? We're going to send you, to talk to somebody. I believe that I could be that person in between to
Mhm.
say, there's a space here for your staff to have a conversation to then be able to be free, not feeding back to the corporate, but a space. But anyway, I'll talk to you about that on the 2 days.
Yeah, no problem at all. You have plenty of time, and what we'll need to do is make sure we've put some criteria around it, some boundaries around it. We also have to make sure that um, people you have a way to make people feel comfortable about speaking as well. So we'll look at all of that.
Thank you, Michelle.
Awesome. So, guys, I think we've come to the end. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the very end. I hope you've had enough to take with you, to start thinking, to start strategizing. I would love to see a couple of you on the program, on the 2-day workshop, and then we can build in the room. Laura was there. There was some other people who were there, and yeah, we had a good time. It was good fun indeed. So, guys, thank you so much. Have an awesome week. And if you come to the book launch, I will see you next week. I'm gonna have new hair, new clothes. I'm gonna be looking like a star, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Love you all. Take care. Take care, guys. Brilliant. Take care. I'll stop recording.